All right, everybody, welcome. Thank you for coming out. The biggest way you guys can make change is to change your environment. So just by showing up here, you are changing your environment. I know we do have some people on Zoom that could not make it, but there are some people that are also doing it that are not here. You're already one step ahead. You will get a bonus point for showing up in person for the scoring system here on our challenge. So first step, changing your environment and getting into one where if you look around you, everybody else here is looking to make probably similar changes. If you've done this before, we've done one more of these and we have an ongoing program that's similar, but this is just juiced up a whole bunch. It's not going to be the exact same. We're going to try and get different things out of it. And those that were here for the previous one are actually in much different spots than they were 6 months ago, because I kind of know all of you guys pretty well and where you're at. So what your goals for showing up here today and the next 6 weeks are probably a lot different. I did add that little mini survey that most of you filled out about why you are here, why you signed up, what you're looking to get out of it, what your desired situation is 6 weeks from now. And it is a lot different than the reasons people signed up for this previously. So real quick, we're gonna get you uncomfortable right away. Go ahead and stand up. Everybody go ahead and stand up. We're gonna do just a couple deep breathing exercises together. Make you really uncomfortable right away. I'm not gonna have you dance around or anything. That did cross my mind, maybe next time. But we are gonna do it's 7, 8, 9. And it will not be 7, 8, 9. It will not be 7, 8, 9, 0 after today. Super sneaky. All right, go ahead and shake it out. Loosen up here a little bit. We're going to do 10 of these together. Okay, so what we're going to do, hands here, we're going to bend the knees. Inhale and reach as high up as you can, and then you're going to exhale down. Okay, don't be shy, make some noise, deep breathe. We're just going to get into it. If we don't, we're going to do them all together. So we're just taking deep breaths here, getting the oxygen flowing, getting the blood flowing, kind of building that community, working as a group right away. All right, so here we go. Number one, we're going to go ahead and take a deep breath in, all the way up, and then exhale. A little louder this time. Go ahead. Number two, deep breath in and exhale. Number three, here we go. Deep breath in and exhale. That's 3. Let's go. Number 4. Here we go. Deep breath in. How wide, how tall can you get? And exhale. Number 5. Here we go. Deep breath in. Even you guys in the back. Deep breath in. And exhale. Get into it. We're halfway done. Here we go. Deep breath in. And exhale. That includes you on Zoom. Deep breath in. Number 7, I think. And exhale. This time, close your eyes. Nobody looking around, as big as you can get it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And 2 more on your own. And exhale out. Last one. That's 1. Here we go. And exhale. Good job. Give yourself a hand. You can do better than that. Give yourself a hand. There we go. Go ahead and sit down. Are we uncomfortable yet? Was that uncomfortable? A little bit? Yes? No? I'm going to pick on you if you don't communicate back with me. I told you it's going to be different than last time, okay? So if you can come into a group like that and do something uncomfortable, you can do what we're trying to do here. Okay, it's not that hard. Getting comfortable being uncomfortable is something that's going to push you farther in your life than staying in your comfort zone. It's actually not about the action of or what you are getting uncomfortable doing. It's about taking the uncomfortable action. That feeling that you might have felt if this is foreign to you when I said go ahead and stand up and we're going to do some loud breathing, you're like, oh, that feeling right there. It's the same feeling when changing your diet, when going for a promotion, when taking a leap in a new career. It's the same kind of feeling you're going to get. So if you can practice changing out of being comfortable and into being uncomfortable and embracing that, you will find that making life change is not that hard to do. Okay. Why do we call it winter wipeout? Is it just because it's winter? Is it because it rhymes? Is it because we did like a summer theme before in a winter? What I want really based on what you guys, actually, we're going to go ahead and back up there for a second. I'm going to call on everybody. I know you filled it out, but I want everyone else to hear it too. Why did you sign up? You can use the exact same answer you gave me. You don't have to give the answer to the other two questions, but why did you sign up to do this?
Lose weight.
Lose weight. Be a little more specific.
I want to get back to where I was like a year.
Awesome.
More discipline with food.
More discipline with food. Very good. And lose weight.
To learn how to make this a priority.
To learn how to make this a priority. Okay, so take what you've got and make it a priority. Chuck.
Get back on track and get below 20%.
Get back on track. Level 20%.
I want to make this sustainable. I've probably done similar things 10 times.
Yeah.
So I want to get there and stay there.
Awesome. Dial in nutrition, use the body fat.
To get back into better habits. I was previously got out of it. And I need to jumpstart to get back.
Awesome.
For accountability.
Accountability. Awesome.
Accountability for sure, which is exercise.
Okay.
And food.
Okay.
Release a couple more Wipeouts and once to get my ass.
Here you go.
Find is everything that everybody has said, but the main goal is for me and David to go there. I want to take my shirt off. It's very like that.
Okay. Better eating and gain more muscle. Awesome. Why did you sign up? Have abs. Nutrition and abs. Okay, awesome. Lisa. You're the last one. Perfect. So you have a lot of answers that are very similar, right? So you know you have a group of people here that are going kind of through the same thing. If it was as easy as a grocery store and it was as easy as a gym membership, everybody would have it because gyms are everywhere, free workouts are everywhere, grocery stores are everywhere. It's not that easy. It is that third piece of accountability, of knowing how to make it sustainable, of doing something that's going to not just work for 6 weeks, but for 6 months and 6 years. It's about education. There's a lot of bad information out there. You can find, if you want to have a certain diet plan and eat a certain way, you can find someone on the internet to tell you to do it and that it'll work and that somebody had a great time working and it worked for somebody. And it's not always the truth. It's not always sustainable because anybody can write anything, right? All right. So the next thing we're going to do is another uncomfortable exercise, but it's going to be with yourself. Okay. You're going to get out that pen and paper that you brought with you. You're going to get that on a clean sheet of paper. If you don't have actual paper and a pen, let me know and we can get you some. 1, 2, 3. Can you grab 3 sheets of or 2 sheets of paper? You are going to write a letter to yourself 6 weeks from now. So you are going to already step into who you want to be, what you want to have accomplished, where you want to be. You're writing this to yourself as if it is Sunday, March 11th, 4th, one of those 2 days, when we meet back here to do the final layouts. And you're going to write to yourself from then, what did you do? What have you accomplished? Where are you? What change did you make? What is your new situation? I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this. Okay. I want you to physically write it down to yourself. When you are done, you are going to tear it out. You're going to fold it up. You're going to write your name on it. And you're going to give it to me. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to look at it, but I'm going to give it back to you 6 weeks from now. Okay. So be honest, be truthful. Don't hold back. Also, don't say you're going to lose 50 pounds, because that's not going to happen in 6 weeks. I don't want to say be reasonable, but like, if everything goes to plan and you were the best version of yourself and you committed and you did what you know you need to do based on what you've got coming, where do you want to be in 6 weeks? And write to yourself what happened, where you are. Say, congratulations on doing X, Y, and Z. This is how you got there. It's pretty awesome. All right. You have 5 minutes for this portion. After the 5 minutes, you are going to, like I said, rip it out, fold it up, write your name on it. I am not going to read them. This is an exercise I've done 2 times. My time frame was 1 year that the mastermind group that I'm a part of required us to, not required, but that's the time frame they gave it. They said, write it back to yourself a year from now. And at the next event I went to, we were back there, they handed it back to us after a year. It's pretty cool to see what came true, what changed, what didn't come true in some cases. Need more than 1 page in the meeting, doesn't matter. Grandma's house.
Do we need to like fold it like in like a triangle like we did in middle school for notes?
If you still remember how to do like this thing here, you can go ahead and do that. However you want to open it, that's fine. If you could fold it up when you are done, at least small enough to fit into an envelope like this. I'm going to put them all in the same one envelope, and I'm going to seal it all up, and we will open it together. Make sure your name's on it. If you need, we have 2 more minutes. If you need more than that, that is okay. You guys can mail it to me. you're done, just let me know, kind of raise it up, I'll come by and get it, make sure your name's on it. Name's on it, and then we'll get into this, yeah, whenever you're right your name on it, 'cause I'm gonna put them all in one, we're gonna seal it, we're gonna touch that paper. Who has not given me theirs yet? Anybody? One more, okay. And you were just the one that, we're on there, buddy. Has anyone ever done anything like that before? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. How'd it go the first time? Well. Pretty good. Went well. It's eerie how much of it comes true.
Yeah.
So. Absolutely, it's always eerie how much of it comes true. There's power in speaking things. There's power in reading things. There's power in writing things. There's power about thinking about things. When you compound all of those things together, the people that are super successful in your life, they all do this. If you'd asked me if I would be up here talking to you about things like this 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you. Guess what? I was stuck and didn't have anything that I wanted for years. I had been stuck in the same spot. And then you talk to more successful people in your life, you see what they do, and you're like, oh, wow, they're all doing this thing that these things that maybe I scoffed at before. Or didn't say, oh, you know what, like even the goal board that's written over there. You'd be surprised how many people don't write their goal on there. Because no, I got it in my head. It's like, well, you've had it in your head for 4 years now, it hasn't come true. Write it there, look at it. We're going to do a vision board exercise. Most of you or every one of you that's already in the program or did the one last time has done it. You guys will be updating yours. Some of you may have not done it. Maybe you did it somewhere else, whatever it is. Also, the word is eerie. It is eerie how much of the things that you take the time to go onto Google and search out a picture for that resonates right here with you for what you want. You put it on there and you write not just what it is, but what you need to do to get it and who you need to become to do those things to get that thing. And it's not always a thing. It could be an attitude. It could be a personality trait, whatever it is. It's not always a material thing. But I don't remember who it was that was in here yesterday or the day before talking about it. Like, I looked at my vision board and everything on it came true from last year. Like, I be careful what you write on there, because like it usually comes true. If you, yeah. So like, be careful what you write on there. It's probably going to come true. And I could call on several people in here that I know made vision boards that were kind of, they might have been a little conservative the first time. They're like, wow, this was supposed to be for the year. It's already happened just because I put it down. I'm going to do another one. I got to update it and think bigger. Okay? It can happen. Okay? So that's just kind of another thing. And Luis used the word eerie. So I decided to give you a little preview of the vision board. So what? Go ahead. It's very eerie, right? You look at it.
Like the main spots of the book was like minimalism and like people flooded and my fucking house for them. So it's just super weird. But every like good things happen on there too.
All right. So why the name Winter Wipeout? What are we trying to wipe out here? Why is it just, did it rhyme? Did it kind of go summer, whatever? The answer is no, that's not really why. Yeah, we did summer and it was winter, so I kind of wanted to do that. I'm like, what goes here? And what are we really trying to do? This is a 6-week thing for some of you. Some of you have been with me for years. Some of you have worked with me on this years ago and are back now. Some of you have been with me 6 months, 3 months, no months, and this is your first time. I really don't take this the wrong way. What happens in the next 6 weeks doesn't matter. The result doesn't matter. Okay. We are doing lifestyle design here and life design. Okay. It's habits. You use the word habits. You are what you repeatedly do. Okay. Most human beings do the same 5 things over and over and over again. They eat the same 5 meals. They go the same 5 places. They hang out with the same 5 people. Almost everything in your life is between 3 to 5. Okay. If you could change just one of those, figure out how to change just one of those habits, you're 20% of the way there. If you got 5 things you need to change, if you could change 2, you're 40% of the way there. If you have 5 people in your life that you spend the most time with them and 2 of them are super toxic and they pull you down, if you get rid of them and replace them with 2 good people, your life will change. If you eat the same 3 meals every day pretty much and one of them is just way off and doesn't serve you or your goals, if you replace that one meal with one that does serve you and serves your goals and serves where you want to be, you're 33% of the way there. I'm sorry for the math, I like math, but it's not much. It can feel overwhelming at times, like, oh, there's so much I need to do, there's so much I need to change. It's really not. It really isn't. It's really only a couple things in your life that you are repeatedly doing over and over and over again that have you in this seat right here, sitting here doing the things, or sitting right here in your current situation. Human beings run towards pleasure and they run away from pain. Most of us, they run towards comfort and away from discomfort. So those 3 to 5 things that you're doing in all aspects of your life have you where you are right now. Change a couple of them, you can change the whole outlook of where you're going. Okay, so what we're trying to do is have you guys do some deep work on why you are here right now in this situation. And it's easy, but it's simple, it's not easy, right? It's very simple to say, oh yeah, it's just a couple habits, but changing that breakfast you've been eating every single day since you were a kid. A lot of this stuff comes from how you were raised. We've talked about this. If you've been in the group, if you haven't, most of your framework and how you operate is instilled in you by the age of 7. So if you had money struggles, if you had a bad relationship with food, if you have a bad relationship with your mom or your dad or your siblings or other people, a lot of that happened in early childhood, and most people ignore it their entire life. And they never come back around. And all these things coming up are because of how they were raised. It's not an excuse. It's something that most people don't want to face. You know, I'm going to use my dad as an example. He just passed away a month or so ago. My dad had a bad relationship with food ever since he was a little kid. And it was just something he was never able to deal with, getting bullied and picked on and all that stuff. And when he met my mom, he ended up kind of getting it dialed in for like that particular time. But he was never really able to shake that. And I watched it. And a lot of times the people that are successful in an area are people that struggled coming up in that area. So if you didn't get respect at home, maybe you go out and overcompensate trying to get respect. If you grew up in a family that was all overweight and everything, maybe you're overcompensating and trying to do it the other way. The point is, we're going to try and do some deep work here to figure out what was instilled in you Why do you have these habits that you do? And what can we do to change this habit to a habit that serves where you want to be, if that makes sense? Because there's a reason you're not where you want to be. And a lot of times we don't always want to do that deep work and look and see where it is. That's the whole point of this challenge. Now, I'm going to skip ahead to some of the nuts and bolts of it, but it started today or yesterday in My Coach. Does anyone not have My Coach and is logged into it? Is anyone not there yet? Everybody has My Coach, you're logged into it. Okay, you should start getting lessons and stuff yesterday. You should start getting those things in. It's an integral part of what we're doing here. The stuff we've put together for you for this is high level content and lessons and things that can really change your life. I'm gonna put David on the spot. He came to me once and said, I'm not gonna put him on the spot, but I'm gonna say, he said, listen, the stuff you're bringing here, I've paid 10, 20 times to go to conferences with very successful people, and they're talking about the exact same thing. They're doing the same thing that we're doing in here. This is more niche down to gym and food, but the concepts, this is what successful people are doing. And it was more as an encouragement and a thank you, like, this is good stuff, keep up what you're doing, is basically what it was. And that made me kind of happy that we're on the right track. So nothing changes if nothing changes. If you signed up for this and you're like, I'm going to go to this thing and I'm going to do the thing, but then you go home and you don't ever look at any of the lessons, you don't dive into the meal plan, you don't kind of look at what you're doing, you eat the same breakfast, lunch, dinner, and weekend routine that you've done this whole time, you don't do the weekly check-ins, all this stuff that we're going to go over, nothing will change. There is magic in being in this room and signing up. That's the first part of changing your environment. But if you don't do anything with it, nothing's going to happen. It's not going to be like, oh, I signed up and I went, let the change happen. You actually have to do something and make little changes. I like the analogy of what's better, go to the gym for 9 straight hours or go to the gym 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Who's going to get better results? It's the same amount of time for what is it, 2.5 months, whatever it is. Who's going to get better results? 3 days a week doing 20 minutes. Doesn't even have to be hard. But you're going to go nine hours in a row. You're going to get nothing out of that. You're going to go super hard for that. It's not sustainable. It's never going to happen. Okay. So if you're someone that just being in this room and just signing up here and just coming was like huge step out of the box, focus on one habit, one little thing. It's better to read the same good book 5 times over and over and apply what you've learned than be a serial reader and read 5 different books and apply nothing. Okay. So if we go over 4 to 5 different, it's going to be one habit per week, but there's going to be a lot of lessons in there. And if you find one that hits you right here and resonates with you, and that's what you focus on this entire 6 week, you are going to see results. And the idea is not to give you a meal. The idea is to teach you how to fish. Seeing the analogy. So if you can find one habit and work on it if 6 weeks is what you need to work on one habit and it makes a big change, and then 6 weeks later you find another habit and it works, and then 6 weeks later it's another habit and another habit. Now, if you're someone that can just dive right in, change everything all at once and actually make it stay, good for you. Like, let's do it. But what we talked up here is we're designing your life here. Okay. I don't care if you hit your goals in 6 weeks. I care that you've built habits for the next 6 years, 60 years, so that you know how to eat when you're traveling with family that don't eat healthy, that you know how to do it when you're on overnights and on the road, that you don't just say, oh, screw it, like I'm done. Like, that you know how to build meals at a gas station, that you know how to build meals at a mid-grade restaurant you didn't choose to go to and it's not your favorite. And that you also know how to cut loose on your birthday or Christmas or whatever the time is and not have any guilt about eating your favorite things, knowing that, guess what, I'm going to get right back on it tomorrow and everything's going to be okay. Because you don't gain up 50 pounds in a day, just like you don't lose 50 pounds in a day. Okay. You guys that are in here, I always start with what is the lowest hanging fruit. The lowest hanging fruit is, I don't know if this is sustainable for me because I really like to eat I really like to do this on the weekend, or I really like to, do whatever I want on my birthday or Christmas. Go for it, do it, it's fine, this is life, like, we have to be able to enjoy it, right? We have a lot of times this pause button mentality with it. It's like, all right, I'm not, like, I did the gym, I did the food, the diet thing, but you know what, I'm busy now. I'm gonna cancel my membership. I'm gonna just eat whatever. I'm gonna stop dieting, and then maybe I'll be back 6 months later. Guess what? Your goals are still there. What you look at in the mirror is still there. The self-talk, it's all gonna be there, whether you say press pause or not. 10 push-ups when you wake up in the morning and a walk, or a 10-minute jog, or making the next best decision at a gas station if you're traveling, or at a restaurant, or at the buffet, or wherever it is that you have to, the next best decision. It might not propel you to lose 5% body fat, but it's not going to propel you onto a steamroll backwards and to gain 5 or 10 pounds. So what I'm trying to help you guys do here, what we want to do based on your responses, is teach you how to do this for your entire life. How can you do this on spring break, on Christmas break, but also on a normal Monday through Friday? I fought the seasonality personally of life for a long time. I think it should be all go all the time. In the gym, we should have as many new people coming in always in January as we do in December. And it's not like that. Life is cyclical, life is seasonal. Every year in October, I make a big post and talk about how don't give away your entire year's worth of gains or losses because you went to 3 Halloween parties, said screw it for a week. You had an early Friendsgiving, another Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving at your house, Black Friday shopping turned into December, turned into that, screw it, I'll just get back on after the new year. And if you've done a good job all year long, and you've lost 15 pounds or 20 pounds and gained 5 pounds of muscle, if that was your goal, whatever it is, and you start doing that, you can very easily give it all back. But there's some very simple tips of just doing what you need to do, understanding how food works, and that food is marketed to you to be addictive and fattening, and it's not good. So that's not a rabbit hole I'm going to go down. I'm going to pull it back, but it is everything around you is designed not for you to be where you want to be. And you can just go to the mall or to Walmart or to Publix and look around and see that is the case. If you eat what everybody else is eating, you will look and feel like everybody else, which it's growing. Obesity and disease are growing at an alarming rate because people are just eating what's convenient, right? So we're going to learn how to build meals. We're going to learn about the quality of food. We're going to learn about balance. We're going to learn about all of those things. But at the end of the day, nothing changes if nothing changes. And like we said, you guys probably, just like me, do the same 5 things over and over and over again. And if we can change 1 of those, you're well on your way. 2 of those, you're almost halfway there. 3 of those, your life will be completely different. If you can get the 4 and the 5, you're going to be where you want to be and much farther. You're going to be redoing that vision board because you've accomplished everything you've ever wanted to and more. The only limitation is you. What box you painted yourself into. Do you want a bigger box? Paint yourself into a bigger box. There's a lot of people out there that are confined to where they want to be, and they'll make room for you if you open up, because that's just how the world works. Okay. Something else I want to kind of cover is the rule of 10. We went over this in the group a couple months back, but I'd like to bring it back up again because a lot of times when we come into something like this, you're like, oh, I'm going to try it for 6 weeks. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try and do that, whatever it is. And like I said, what we're doing here is not for 6 weeks. What we're doing here is for the rest of your life. That's my goal, is to teach you how to eat for the rest of your life. Now, personally, I spend about $15,000 a year in 3 different mastermind accountability groups. At the point for me in nutrition and business and some other endeavors that I'm in, a lot of it is about learning, but what a couple of you over here especially said, it's about accountability. There's going to be time where you're like, I know what to do. I know how to do it. I've done it before. I just need to know somebody's checking in with me. right? Accountability is huge. Being in a group is huge, okay? The rule of 10 is this. If you want to do something, fail 10 times before quitting. How many times do we say, oh, I want to try something, I'm going to try this. You do it, doesn't work out, you're like, ah, it didn't work out, I'm going to go ahead and move on. What if you tried 10 times before truly quitting is something you wanted to? Oh, I tried to work out. I got too sore. Okay, so you're just going to quit? Or you're going to figure out, I'm not going to push as hard for the next couple of times so I can get into this, because no matter what I do right now, my overarching life goal is that I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to be there for my kids. I want to have mental health. I want to be not living in a doctor's office when I'm whatever it is. What if you didn't quit after the first or second time? How far would you be? If you reevaluated 9 times, you did something, it didn't work. Okay, I'm going to try this way. Okay, I'm going to try this way. Okay, I'm going to try this way. Human beings, especially the kind of people that are in here, usually pretty determined, usually pretty successful, usually you come in here and voluntarily go through the pain of CrossFit. Like, what if you didn't quit every time? What if you didn't quit after 1 or 2 failures? What if in your life you implemented the rule of 10? I'm going to try this 10 times. A different way each time, slightly different variation. Don't mistake the rule of 10 with insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over and over again, and expecting a different result. So don't try it 10 times the exact same way. Try it 10 little different times, and reach out to me. Reach out to your other coaches. Reach out to people in the group that you see doing what you want to do to know how to make those tweaks, right? A lot of times it can be tough because it's a pride thing. Like me and my friend, we both used to be the same. My friend started doing something. They've been going to CrossFit for a year. They lost 30 pounds. Maybe I'm feeling subconsciously, bad about myself because they did that and I decided not to. That's pride. Pride comes before the fall. Ask them what they're doing. See how it goes. Okay, that's what you're doing. Maybe I'll try that. That doesn't work for you. Pivot to something else. Pivot to something else. Pivot to something else. If it's not CrossFit, if it's not, the point system, if not whatever, like it's not about the what, it's about the action. And knowing that you have to keep moving forward and get out of the comfort zone to get whatever you wrote to yourself on those letters, whatever you're going to put on your vision board, whatever it is. The other thing I'd like to point out, I didn't write it up here, but you're never going to be criticized by anyone doing more than you. You're only going to be criticized by people doing less than you. Okay. I don't know everyone in here's personal home situation, life situation, living situation, marriage or boyfriend, girlfriend situation. Friend situation, but you're probably in a group that you're comfortable with. And when you try to make change, if those people are not about it, it might make them feel bad that you are trying to make a change. And it's, why do you eat so healthy? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Come up here and do this. Like, if they're doing less than you, they're going to be the ones criticizing you. People that are doing more than you are going to be like, dude, that's awesome. If you need help, let me know. Hey, that's amazing. That's really cool. Like, let me know how I can help. Those are going to be people that build you up. And what you're probably going to find, people that try and hold you back and tear you down are usually the ones the closest to you. And the people that you thought wouldn't be your biggest supporters, they are the people that you might have never thought were the ones that are going to be in your corner and that are going to support you. And as you start to progress and move forward, that step you took might be the step they needed to move forward, even though you guys had never talked about it. But a lot of times it's the people you're closest with that you're going to have the most friction with, because you're close to them because you were comfortable in the same area at the time. You want to grow, growth requires work and pain a little bit. Okay. So now we're going to kind of go into, like more of the nuts and bolts here. Of the actual what we're doing for the 6 weeks, the challenge, and even the very first one. So there's a big debate over quality of food and quantity of food. Okay. The meal plan we're giving you is a points-based system based on healthy foods, mainly healthy foods. You're going to notice there's a few things that are not on there. I am going to suggest to you that you try and stick to that list, not on your whatever day you want meal you want to take off, whatever you want to do, but as a base, I am going to suggest that you focus on those. Okay. Again, if nothing changes, if nothing changes. So personally, I've had experience where I've eaten tons of processed food. I've had times where I'm not eating a lot of processed foods at all. Sometimes I'm in the middle. And what I found is that, and let me back up a little bit. I don't mean like if we go out on Saturdays and have sushi or pizza or whatever it is that we're doing, I have actually been able to dial that back in. What I'm talking about is Monday through Friday, your daily thing. If you know how to read a nutrition label, we will go over that. But if you know, nutrition labels are allowed by the FDA to be 20% off in either direction. Meaning, if it says it has 200 calories made up of these 3 macros, it can actually have 240 calories or 160 calories. And if it gets tested and it says this bagel or bread or pasta or rice or cookies or crackers or whatever that comes on a label, it is actually allowed to be 20% off either direction. Okay. So you can measure and weigh everything and do all that as close as you can and still be way off. Okay. That's one of the reasons, especially in the beginning, why focusing on foods that aren't made but are grown or actually designed to be eaten can be a good place to focus and get your base, because an apple is pretty much going to be an apple. Now there's a whole nother discussion about the soil, that's where I'm looking for, the destruction of the soil and the seasonality of fruit changes it, but it's much, 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 much less than the actual allowance of built and created food versus real food that you could either grow or pick or whatnot. So it does focus on there. We're going to get into questions. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? It's not on the list. Sure, you can fit it in. It's very easy to do. There's right at the top of the nutrition guide, it says 1 point is these 3. This is how it works. If you have questions about that, that's what I'm here for. That's what, I'm happy to help and to do that. But for this, at least for the initial part, we're going to try and focus on things that are on the list. And then kind of go from there. Just a little bit about nutrition. Some of you know, some of you don't. I'm not going to assume everybody knows everything. You have macronutrients, protein, carbs, fats. The 4th ghost macro is alcohol. No, a glass of wine does not only have 4 carbs. It might have 4 carbs, but it has 120 extra calories from the alcohol itself. Okay, so people will look at that and be like, oh, 1 glass of wine, 4 carbs. That means if I drink the whole bottle, 16 carbs, that's like eating half of an apple. It's not how it works. Okay, there is calories in the alcohol itself. Okay, you've heard alcohol stunts fat loss. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Why does it do that? Because while it can be fun and enjoyable as a good time, it's not supposed to be inside your body. So when there is alcohol content in your body is going to burn that for energy before it burns either the carbs or the fats to get it out, because it's not supposed to be there physically. So if you're drinking all the time, it could stunt your fat loss. Just, isn't a glass of wine a night good? I heard that's good for your heart, or, whatever. There are calories in there and they do stop fat loss. So yeah, quality of food. Okay. This here is going to be a checklist of how you accumulate points, what we actually will do. So I'm going to pass that out. There is going to be every week a mini challenge for you to complete. It will come into your My Coach Sunday, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., something like that. These were the create the vision board based on the training. It was do the recipe. It was the Echo Bike Challenge, the Wall Ball Challenge. There was a few things. There are some that are similar this time. There is also 3 or 4 of them that are different. So it's not the same mini challenge. You will get a point for doing that. Some of you remember the marathon challenge from last time. We are bringing that back, the big overall marathon challenge. This time, though, I'm going to give you a choice. Okay, last time, the only way it wasn't running was if you were injured. This time, I'm going to give you a choice. So you're going to pick running, rowing, biking, whatever you want. And I don't know them off the top of my head, the conversions, but I have them typed up and written out. Basically, your challenge is to run a marathon over the 6 weeks. It's 26.2 miles. It's 4.2 miles a week. I have that. I think it's like 69,048 meters per week if you're doing it here. Class runs don't count. You got to use a tracking app and you upload the pictures. If you choose to row, I have the number, the meter conversion for it based on this chart that we use here in class. So it would be extra rowing will earn you up to, it's 1 point per 4.2 miles or equivalent. If you complete the entire marathon, that means you'll get 6 points, plus there's 2 bonus points for completing the whole thing. So that's worth up to 8 points. So if you did 25 miles, you would get 5 points. If you did 26.2 miles, you would get 8 points because there's 2 bonus points for completing. And again, when I post this, I will post this is the number on the bike, this is the number on the rower. So yeah, so weekly challenge, mini challenge, you'll be required to like upload it and tag us. Yes,
Do they have, if you pick row, you're.
correct. You're picking one thing and sticking with it. Yep. So last time it was everybody runs unless you have a documented ankle injury or knee injury or whatever. This time it's any of it's available to you. You just have to pick which one that you want to do and kind of roll with that for the 6 weeks. How many people are going to do echo bike? I figured that you get a kick out of that one. Figured you get a kick. Okay. All right. There's 2 over there. I like it. Very good. Okay. So weekly challenges. There's going to be a weekly coaching call, live Zoom call, 9 p.m. Monday, 9 p.m. on Mondays. You get credit, 1 point for showing up. It's a little change from last time. Your video must be on. You can't just turn it on and go away and clean your house or be in the other room watching TV. Video's on. Attendance will be taken at the end.
At 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
How long are they?
30 minutes maybe. This is going to be a time where we kind of go over the content that has come in, where we answer questions, figure out how we're doing, do a little check-in, go over some of the higher level stuff that's in the program. One of the very first thing is called a kitchen clean out. This could be tough for some of you. Easy for some, not so easy for others. Here's where I am with the kitchen clean out. The things you put in front of you, you're going to eat. If you got cookies and crackers sitting on your counter, you're going to eat them. If you got apples and bananas sitting on your counter, you're going to eat them. If you got kids and that's what your kids eat, and you're not going to get rid of it, fine, put it in the cabinet, get it away. But just know the more you put into this, the better it's going to be. Okay, you're here for a reason because you want to change. I'm not saying it has to be forever. I'm not saying it has to, I'm not saying anything really. I'm trying to give you the tools to help you be successful. Start thinking about the person that wrote that letter to themselves 6 weeks from now. What does that person do? Is that person still eating garbage, processed crackers and cookies all day? Or are they eating more healthy things that are going to give more vitamins and minerals to them, that are going to help them feel better, that it's going to help your, improve your skin, improve how your mood, all these things. They call them empty calories, right? Like you can make them fit. Like that's the whole macros thing. If it fits your macros, you can eat this, you can eat that. You should have balance, right? I agree. You should have balance. But again, we're here because what we're doing is maybe not currently working. So maybe we can try something else. Again, the lessons that come in, this is when we do like a 6-week thing, it's honestly a lot. And like I said before, I would like you to pick pick what, if you find something that hits you here, stick with that and focus with it. Right? But don't just say, oh, I'm not gonna do those lessons, that's dumb. Well, then that's kind of what you'll get out of it. You get in what you put out of it. And the stuff we put into these 6 weeks is a lot of our best stuff. And I don't mean like I came up with it. This is like leaders, ultra successful people. This is what they do. So we're trying to give you access to that so that you can become the best version of yourself. It's kind of like reading a book over and over again. Vanessa and I talk about this book, Atomic Habits. It's a fantastic book if you've never read it. I've read it 4 or 5 times now. And every time I read it, I feel like I've never read it because I'll hear something that I didn't catch the first 4 times. It's just kind of, when you find a gem like that, it's kind of what we're talking about here. So if you find something, stick with it. You'll keep learning different things. And then once you've got that and installed that into you as kind of how you operate as a person, then we're ready to move on to the next thing and the next thing. But paralysis by analysis, trying to do too much is a real thing too. But the kitchen clean out is one of the, if it didn't come in yet, it's coming in tomorrow. That's one of the ones where, let's talk a little bit more about that. If in the past, there's been certain things I've been able to keep in my house and I was fine not to eat them because that was where I was at the time. Like it just didn't bother me to be in there. I never ate it. Except when it was, I wanted a treat on the weekend or a treat, whatever, like, and then something changed. I don't know what. And having that in my house would derail me for weeks at a time, because if it was there, I was going to eat it. Life changes, right? We're not in the same place that we are. So one of the main themes of the kitchen clean out is get the things that are in your house causing you to fail over and over and over and over. You get them and get them out. Throw them away. Don't put them in the back. If there's something in there that you know affects you in a terrible way and that causes you to fall off the wagon, get rid of it and just see what happens. For me, it's chocolate chips, vanilla ice cream. I used to keep chocolate chips in the house. I'd have 1 or 2, 3 or 4, turned into 20 or 30, turned into handfuls every night. I track and eat everything healthy all throughout the day. And then at the end of the night, I'm eating like, I'm not kidding you, like almost a bag of chocolate chips without even thinking about it. So what happened here? I don't know. Gone. Now I keep raspberries, blackberries, and grapes. And I eat them at night like candy, and it keeps me away from that. It keeps me on track. And those who know me, well, know I love to eat, and I still do eat, right? It's not like I've taken away everything that I love and don't ever have it. You guys know me. It isn't like that, right? But my base, who I am now, mac and cheese is not a meal. Okay, so what we're trying to get away from is like teach you how to build meals. Maybe you're just like, oh, I had mac and cheese today for lunch, or I had a salad with no protein on it one time. And then at dinner, I had like a steak and a baked potato, but then for breakfast, I had a yogurt and an apple. And then one day I had eggs with nothing else. And one day I had oatmeal. These are so wildly different. You can't get any results from this. Okay. So we're going to teach you how to build those meals so that you can be consistent across. This is getting a little bit more to the nutrition. So on your sheet, weekly coaching call, weekly weigh-in. Whatever scale you got at home will work for the weekly weigh-in. It's another way to earn a point. I believe I have it scheduled for Mondays. I'll have to double check on that, but all of this will be sent to you in My Coach. My Coach is where it lives. If it's not in My Coach, you're not getting credit for it. Okay. So you take scale, picture, load it up there. You get 1 point per week for that. 1 point per week for being at the coaching call. 1 point per week for the mini challenge, up to 8 points for the big challenge. Oh, I knew I was forgetting one. The weekend workout. So 3 days a week workouts, you get credit for. Okay, we'll go back after the week. If you made it 3 times, you get credit. You get that point there. If you're not here, I know we have some that are out of town. I'm not sure where Pfeiffer is. Pfeiffer was supposed to be here too, but we have people that are out of town. You will take a picture of your workout, you will upload it. If you're traveling during this time and you still want credit, you need to let us know ahead of time. And we'll go ahead and tell you what to do for that. You can get credit if you're traveling. That's the whole point. Everything we've talked about so far has nothing to do with how much you gain or lose, right? It's all about a habit. All about a habit. There's one more here. You will get points if when you did the weigh-in with Carrie Ann, we're talking about either gaining muscle, losing fat. I'm sure you probably picked one. You will receive 1 point for every % body fat loss or muscle gain, whichever one that you want to choose. So that is the only thing that's really based on any kind of result. It's all about the habit. You get the habits right, the results will come. It's guaranteed. Can't not happen. Okay, cannot happen. There's one thing here I want to look at. Oh, okay, got it. On the backside, you'll also see the Thorne supplement basic bundle. Supplements are huge, guys. Supplements are huge. If you're not eating, especially if you're eating not great things, a basic fish oil, multivitamin, amino acids, or BCAAs while you're training, it's very, very helpful for you. It's going to kind of supplement the things that are not there in your food. You get a bigger discount and free shipping by being a part of this challenge, even in addition to the one you get from Die Hard. It's one more piece of the buy-in to help yourself. Okay, food, workouts, sleep, water, mental health, and covering any vitamins and minerals that you're not doing. Those are the 7 things that we really are focusing on here. Okay, so I highly recommend it. Water we didn't mention yet, but you're gonna, the baseline is, what is it, 1 ounce per kilo of body weight or pound. But really, for you guys being in Florida, drinking caffeine, drinking alcohol, working out in a, it's not necessarily air conditioning here. We want you to try and hit a gallon of water a day, at least. It's great for your skin. It's great for your muscles. Speaking of that, do you guys have your in-body sheets? I'm going to go over this very quickly for those of you that have never had one. I'm going to go over this very quickly for those of you that have never had one. If you look very quick at the top and you see total body water, you'll see how high of a percentage of your body is water. Drinking a gallon of water is one of the best things you can do for your health. Okay? One of the best things you can do for your health. If you're drinking Coke Zeros, if you're drinking Zevias, if you're drinking coffees, if you're drinking all this stuff, you try to relate to your audience, right? If you're drinking regular soda, just stop there. I mean, that's a free 50. If you're a regular soda drinker, that's a free 10 to 15 pounds in the next 16 weeks that you can get rid of. Coke Zero, coffee, all those things don't count as water. There's a lot of things that don't count as water. But look how much of your total at the top is water, right? Most of you, it's going to be a very, very high percentage of water. Next under that is your dry lean mass. Most people are surprised at how low this number is. That's because so much of you is a little bit of something with a lot of water. Muscle, 20%, dry mass, 80% water. Brain and eyes, 90 to 95% water, 5 to 10% dry mass. Internal organs, 50% water, 50% dry mass. Bones, everything. Water is super, super important. I can show you study after study of athletic performance, documented studies with dehydration, where they'll take a big group of athletes, test them on all these different tests. A couple days later, dehydrate them a certain percentage, and then test them again. And in every single case, the performance drop is so huge. It just kind of shows you how much it is. So it's very, very important. Dry mass. Body fat mass. That's the jiggly stuff. That's the stuff that most of you want to get rid of here. Okay, that's in pounds. And then you have your total weight. Now, just to the right of your total weight, you'll see your lean body mass. Okay, lean body mass is your body weight minus your body fat is one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is body water plus dry lean mass. Okay, right under lean body mass on the right, you're going to see the basal metabolic rate. When you were laying in bed this morning before you had gotten up, if you laid in bed all day, that's the number of calories you would burn just laying there. There's some variation, but that's basically it. The only way to make that number go up is to increase your muscle mass. You could lose 30 pounds of body fat and maintain your muscle mass, and that would not go anywhere different. You could also keep your body fat where it is and gain 10 pounds of muscle, and your basal metabolic rate would go away. I'm sorry, it would go up, would not go away, but it would increase. So muscle is how you increase that. The next one, muscle fat analysis. You'll see the weight and the body fat 2 rows down. Those two numbers are the exact same as they were up there. That middle number, skeletal muscle mass, that's anything you can flex. Okay, anything you can flex there. That is the number that if it increases, the basal metabolic rate will increase. You can see this thing makes one of 3 shapes. It makes a C, it makes an I, or it kind of makes a D. Okay, if you want to lean out, have abs, lose some weight and gain some muscle, be healthier altogether. If you are a C, you want it to go to more an I and then eventually a D. If you're an I and you want to do that, you're going to want to go from an I to a D. If you're a little D, you're going to want to make that D curve much bigger, because to do that, your weight will either go down or stay the same, your body fat will go down or stay the same, and your muscle mass will increase, and that changes that curve. Is anybody confused on that?
Yes.
Yes? So you have those 3 lines there. Oh, boy, I'm sliding. So you have your weight. Weight, muscle, and body fat. If your weight line is here, your muscle mass is up here, and your body fat is down here, the end of that line makes it a D curve. Okay. But let's say you were lower on muscle, higher on weight, higher on body fat. This thing now makes a C. Okay. So if you were to lower your body fat, lower your weight, now we go from a big C to a little C. And then another month or 2 goes by. Now they're even. So now you got an I. And then maybe you decide, hey, I want to gain some muscle. So the muscle goes up, weight goes up a little bit, but body fat goes down. Now we have a D curve. That's just how it's just another way to look at that graphic visual representation of it. BMI, it's like using a flip phone here in 2023. It's a dumb number, ignore it. You still use BMI in your work or at your doctor. They're getting away from it. It's height and weight only. So you could be 6'1", 220, 8% body fat, and be considered obese. You could be 6'1", 220, 40% body fat. Your BMI is the exact same. It is based on height and weight only. BMI is the stupidest thing. They're moving away from it because it's dumb. In the military, we have a lot of kids that come through the military here that have had to get special exemptions because their BMI was overweight, and they're in here and they're in amazing shape and they look great, and they're like, oh, they had to do the measurement test because the BMI is so far off. Okay. This is a clinical grade, hospital grade machine. That's why it's on here still, and some people still use it, unfortunately. Percent body fat, that's right below that one. The reason, so you'll see above those, you'll see a down arrow, a slash, and an up arrow. That gives you your percentile of where you are for someone of your height, age, and gender. Height, age, and gender. Now, this is not for people that exercise, people that are CrossFitters, people that are powerlifters, people that are triathletes, people. This is for the general population. Okay, so I want my muscle mass and my weight to be far above the average, and I want my body fat to be far below the average. So just take that with a grain of salt with what it says here, because it's for everybody, not people that want to get are not trying to necessarily get better. There's basically, if you're male or female, what you'll notice on here too. For percent body fat, the dash range, which is like the midline range of what's considered to be healthy or ideal. By who I don't know, but 18 to 28% for women. If you're a guy, your sheet will say 10 to 20%. If you put a female that has 18% body fat, you know, put them in a sports bra and shorts, and you put a guy with a shirt off next to one another, 10% and 18%, you would think they probably look about the same. Most people would say, oh, they probably have about the same body fat. So that's the comparison. 18 to 28 for a lady equals 10 to 20 for a guy visually in that aesthetic, just based on, you know, how we're made differently. So just know that's the reason for the difference there. That number at the very top right, the body fat, lean body mass control, it's not customizable, but where that number comes from depends on how much body fat you have, one, and how much muscle you have. In some cases, it tells people to gain lean body mass and lose fat, or it doesn't say anything. That number there at the top would get you to the middle of the percent body fat graph, which for guys is 15% and for ladies is 23%. If your goal is higher than that, you can't change it. You can't say, hey, I want it to be here. It's just not customizable. So if you wanted to be 10% as a guy or 18% as a girl, you would need to lose more than what is on there or gain more muscle too. It just, you want to know where that number comes from. It's always going to get you to 15 for a guy and 23 for a girl. The left arm, left leg, right leg trunk, that shows you where your muscle mass is distributed in your body. So when and the percentages there, what that means, I'll go over in a second. So left arm, right arm, you're looking for all of these to have a percentage of over 100%. That means you have, relative to your body weight, you have enough muscle mass in that area to support you. And I don't mean without falling over, that's just kind of their metric. So 100% or higher is what you're looking for. And then the difference between the two, like Morgan's sheet here, we have a 3.3% difference in the left and the right arm. That is not significant. 6% or less on the upper body is considered not statistically significant. Lower body is 3%. She's actually exactly the same on right and left leg. But the arm, there is a little bit of difference, but it's not significant. So if you have more than a 3% difference on the legs and more than a 6%, we might want to do some more. I mean, we do a lot of it in the program here anyway. I do a lot of single arm and single leg stuff, but you might want to add a little bit more if like your right arm was like 10% difference than your left. Maybe you had an injury, maybe you're way dominant on the other hand, kind of whatever. That might be why. And then the trunk, obviously you only compare it to itself. So it's 120 or it's, you know, that's a percentage. So you want that percentage above 100 there too. And there's nothing to compare it to. At the bottom is your comparison history. If you've done one before on our machine, you'll see that history on there. If this is your first time on this machine, you'll only see one, but the next time you'll see those three things right there. So the nutrition plan, nutrition guide has plenty of explanation videos. It has all the instructions in it. Your job is to go through all of that and then be ready for question and answer and to fire off the questions. Okay. The kitchen clean out, going and grocery shopping. The most important thing for this is to be prepared. Okay, if you go shopping for 2 days and you know that on day 3 and 4 you don't have time to go shopping, what's going to happen? You're going to fail without even thinking about it. I can tell you right now, you're going to fail. If you don't read over the guide, if you don't, jump in, you're going to fail. Okay, so it does take preparation in the short. It's like, make your life harder on purpose so that it's easier later. If you always take the easy route out now, your life's always going to be harder later. So yes, it might be a little bit hard to take 2 hours on a Sunday to go, or an hour on Sunday to go grocery shopping and 2 hours to cook. But if you add up all the time you're running into Starbucks to grab a wrap and running into Panera and do this and going to Chipotle and then going to the gas, you're spending way more than 2 hours during the week. Question is going to come up. What about meal prep services? We have Skip's Garden that delivers here every week. We have Atomic Meals that are points-based meals. It's partnered with our company. And that gets shared too. It's literally a 4-point meal. You can have that delivered, goes right in, you can cook it. It's all up to you. If you have time and you have cooking skills and you can do it, cook all your meals. That's probably the best way. Me personally, I don't have meals every week. When I know I'm super busy, it's worth it to me to make sure I have food in my house because it's a non-negotiable that I do this stuff. It's who I am. I'm not going to come to you and say, I just didn't have time. I just didn't have food in my house. It doesn't happen because of how over the years I've set my life up for this. If I know I'm going on a trip and I'm coming back late and that I have work Monday right away, I'm going to make sure there's food in my kitchen. I don't care what it costs. I don't care about any of that because what's better is like, okay, well, if I cooked it at home, it'd be $8. And if I got a meal, it'd be $12. Is it worth $4 to not stay on track and to fall off for possibly a whole week? No, not even close. I will spend any amount of money to make sure that my non-negotiables are taken care of. It's like people that come in and, well, I'm not going to go down that road, but convenience costs more money. So obviously, if you want someone to cook everything for you, it costs more. If you do it all yourself, it costs less. If you go out to eat at a restaurant, it costs money. Everything has a cost to it. It's either a money cost or a time cost. That's up for you to evaluate. So if you're someone who has very limited time, very limited resources to do this right now because of whatever your family, your job, whatever, it might be better off to start off with someone helping you cook your meals. And then you say, you know what, I do have time. I can take care of breakfast and lunch. Maybe I'll just do dinner. If you have time and you have someone to help you at home, you might not need any of that help. The point is, what do you need to do to be successful? You have to do it. Like you have to implement that. And then from there, you'll get better and it'll get easier, right? It's like working out. The first time you went for a 1 mile run, maybe it took forever and you were sore and you had to walk some, and then you do it again every day. That mile run is going to get easier and easier and easier. Maybe 800-meter run, we'll call it that, whatever it is. Same thing with weights and squats. You do 30 air squats coming off the couch. Yeah, you're going to be sore. By day 5 of doing it, you're not going to be that sore. By day 20, you're going to do it in your sleep. It's the same thing with meal prep. It's the same thing with food. It's the same thing with understanding. So you're going to go through all the videos. You're going to look at your meal plan. You're going to then come to me with questions. Okay, that's in my coach. Come to me in my coach. You're not bothering me. You're not annoying me. It's not a bad thing. This is why you signed up. I'll just close it out with this and then we'll take questions. This was my missing piece. I was a really, really fit person, great CrossFitter, competed all the time, did all this, but I didn't want to take my shirt off on the boat. I didn't want to take my shirt off at the beach because I didn't feel like the way I looked reflected how I trained, because my food wasn't right, because I didn't have the education. I told the story at the last one, but we have a lot of new people. Real quick, I found a nutrition coach. She was a friend of mine owned a gym in Orlando. She had a nutrition program. She had great results. I kicked the can. Finally, I'm like, I'm going to do it. Went to sign up. My credit card didn't work. I didn't know the zip code. It didn't, like I thought I had it memorized. I didn't. Went out to my truck to get my wallet. Didn't find whatever, got distracted. 2 years go by. I'm at a party. Friend of mine in Port Orange. I see a guy I haven't seen in 2 years. I'm like, oh, Marty, what did you do? He goes, oh yeah, joined Lindsay's gym and did a nutrition program. I'm like, lean mean nutrition? He goes, yeah. He's like, check these out. I'm like, I went right there at the party. I went out to my truck. I got my wallet. I signed up for nutrition coaching. My life's been changed ever since. 7 months, I lost 45 pounds. Up to 50, down to 40. I've been able to live in that range for the last 7 years. Okay. But don't kick the can down the road, get into it, dive in, and build the habits that are going to get you there. Why did I say that? Oh, you're not bothering me. This right here was a missing piece for me because it took me so long to do. Like, I want to help you do this. This literally is life-changing. You'll look at some of the people from the last one that are down 25, 30, 40 pounds, people that have been doing this that are down 50 pounds and have kept most of it off and are back and forth. Like, it's life changing once you know how to do it, and it's not that hard. It's very simple. It's not easy. So this whole thing is about getting you to implement the simple system that's going to allow you to live the life and be the person that you want to be. And you're not going to get there unless you ask. Or if you're confused, make sure you ask. That's the biggest thing I would say. At the end of all these, people sign up for this and it's like, oh yeah, I was confused on this and I never asked. I'm just like it's such a simple thing that I can help you with. Like it's so simple, but I don't know unless you check in. I don't know unless you ask. So do we have any questions now that in relation to how it works and whatnot? I'm thinking I'm going to do probably tomorrow night, like a Q&A Zoom. It's not going to be a point counted one, but if you did have questions after going over it, you know, I think I'll do that if you guys want me to do that. We did it last time. It was we had people that did have questions. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, or I'll at least post it. I'll be available. So any questions?
We're gonna start with Monday.
You can put your shoes on right now. Oh, guys, class runs, rows, bikes don't count. It's extra. So if you're like, ooh, I'm gonna be sneaky, I'm gonna pick the rower because every Wednesday I'm getting in 3,000 meters. Nope. It's got to be extra.
Is there a particular app that we're tracking run on?
I brought up Map My Run last time and the people made me feel like I was old for using that one. Like that was the one people used years ago. Does anybody have a good running tracker?
Ooh, the Nike app or the Nike Run app.
Nike
I think
Run.
it's yellow.
You know what? Harold gave me 2 of them that he really liked last time. If we post, I'm sure he would post that in there. We can go ahead and make a post saying, hey, what's everybody's favorite running app? Really, all I'm looking for is the screenshot of the distance. So there's going to be a picture folder in my coach that'll say big challenge. And if you're running, you'll just, every time you do one, take a screenshot of your results, upload it in there. If you're doing the row, take a picture of your rowing screen, upload it in there, bike, kind of whatever.
The standard is probably
Strava. Okay.
for all sports.
Does it cost money? Okay, cool.
So you can take that for cycling, for running. I've used that one. And
Awesome.
then the other one
What's it
is
called?
Strava stand, or the full stand.
Strava?
Strava, STRAVA.
And I think it's free. And you can do like a picture and map out runs.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, for what, honestly, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need the paid version of whatever the app is. If there is one, you just need something to give me a basic distance so we kind of can add up how far you went, whether it's running, rowing, or well, you don't even need an app for rowing or the bike. You can just take a picture of that and upload it. But for the run, we just need something very simple that helps us keep track of it.
Run Keeper is really easy for the running, and you can like set the goals, and set how many miles the marathon is, and then it like has to do it, it'll tell you how many more miles to it.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's free. You might try to get you the paper version of it, but you don't have to pay for it. You can go this into like the free version.
All right. If you guys don't have any more group questions, that's fine. If you had a question you were scared to ask and you want to talk to me about it right now, come on. Okay. Alex, I saw your hand.
Is there gonna be a trophy for the winner and loser?
Yeah.
We got magnets on this trophy. We'll put the top 3 up there like we did last time.
Let's make you a done.
Alex had his own fantasy football trophy designed because he was in the championship and then David beat him out. So he put that on. I'm glad he didn't end up ordering it.
I was just gonna, you and I did the fuel before we used the My Fitness Pal. Is it gonna have some kind of a scan where you can scan labels to upload it? It sounds like it's slightly different.
It is different, and I can answer that question for you. Yeah. Anybody else? All right, guys, if you have any other questions, Chuck, we can talk about that because you've done the other thing. Of course. Sorry about that.
Oh, when are gonna weigh
So the weigh-in is before and after. So by the Sunday of the challenge. The end of it, that's when we'll do this again. I'll post that date today, like at the end of the 6 weeks. Your weekly weigh-in, it's just me, you're getting on a scale, sending a weigh-in. And that'll give you a bonus point for that. I would also, to be honest with you. Tomorrow morning, if you didn't do it today, I would also weigh yourself. On your scale at home and compare it to that, because if it's off. You're gonna be like, oh man, when you do your weigh-in, or you're gonna be like, oh, I've lost 10 pounds, and then you're gonna come in here and be like, oh, I didn't lose 10 pounds. So consistency across everything is the most important thing, so. Get up, go to the bathroom, get on your scale, take your photo, boom. Some people do it every day, you can do it every day, you're just not gonna get an extra bonus point for it every day, but. I would go tomorrow and wake up, or if you did it today, and see. Hey, the InBody said I was 152 and my scale at home says I'm 148. So then you're gonna have that expectation is gonna be different. Just make sure you can see something consistent to itself.
I'm assuming that number that written on the top of the InBody is related to the nutrition.
Yes, and it'll show you everyone, click right on.
Okay.
It's a lot of information. Go over it, look at it, and come back with questions, right? So you will, but it's all there. You'll have questions. They're not stupid questions. No question. The only dumb question is the one you didn't ask. Don't wait to check-in day is Monday and you have a question on Wednesday. Please don't wait until next Monday. You've wasted 5 days. 5 days where we could have been making progress. I want to help you guys get on track as quick as possible. So that you can see as good a results as possible in this 6-week time frame and beyond. But don't wait 5 days to ask me the question that you could have asked me right away. Cool.
But that's why I wanted to have that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being active and participating. I appreciate it. For the challenge, you can start right now if you wanted to. I don't know, based on that picture you sent me the other day, I don't know if you want to go, running right now, but whatever you choose, we starting now, so.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Nope.
Awesome, very good. All right.